Yep, I have been there, exactly where you are right now. Binge watching videos, searching for some sort of validation, information that you think you don't have, but at the end of the day, we all know you have a little bit enough that you need. And maybe you are one of those people that you're just stuck in a cycle that you don't even realize you are. So in this video, we're gonna dive into that and how to break this cycle of binge watching multiple content, consuming, and still feeling stuck in the same place. You learned nothing, but in reality, you have a lot in your head. You just haven't put it into practice. And I know that because I was exactly right there a few months ago. I was constantly looking for inspiration. I was constantly looking for videos that would give me information on topics I was searching for, mostly related to content creation, YouTube, how to grow on YouTube, how to be a content creator, how to make videos. And what I didn't realize is those videos are very important, right? They have value. They provide you with the inspiration or the motivation boost you need to get started in whatever you're doing. And that's the importance of that. But they can be a little bit dangerous if we consume it in a way that is not healthy. For example, for me, I realized that I would watch one video and I would think, well, that was great. And then YouTube would suggest me another video similar to the same one, similar title, similar thumbnail. I would think, well, maybe this person has a different insight on that. Let me check on this. And then what I didn't realize is that I didn't give myself the chance to put into practice what I had learned and absorbed in the first video. And I wanted to get more intakes, more perspectives, different experiences, and I did that. But the thing with it is YouTube is a huge platform. There are multiple ways of growing here. There are multiple ways of succeeding here. And what works for one person won't exactly work for you the same way. So I realized that what was working for me was understanding that I can get the knowledge from this person and then the knowledge from this person, and I will filter what's working for both of them and then get the center idea there. But then I was just constantly watching and then thinking to myself, I'm not ready enough. I'm not prepared enough like those people. I don't have what it takes yet. I think I need more knowledge. And I was just consuming more and more. But I already knew what I have to do, right? At this point, I already knew what I had to do at that time. I was just not doing it. And part of me was just giving myself this excuse to not do it, which was like, I'm not ready enough, or I need more information. When in reality, I had enough information that I needed in order to get started. I was just not applying anything I learned in those videos. I was just like consuming, and getting inspired and getting overwhelmed, because hopping from one video to the other, you will see different scenarios, you will see different approaches, and you will start thinking that what is actually works is one thing. And sometimes those people, they'll say controversial things a video to the other. So one video will tell you like, don't post shorts. Another video will tell you post a lot of shorts. One video will tell you like, combine these formats. Another video will tell you don't combine formats. Another video will tell you do SEO optimization on your channel. Another one will tell you be creative and original and generate your own titles and description. So there's a lot of confusion there, and it can generate even more confusion, even more like overthinking when you binge watch this kind of content. And I'm here to offer you this vision that you need to find ways to break the cycle. It's like learning a language by reading and listening to that, but not speaking. And I say that because I was an English teacher back in my country a few years ago, and I understand a little bit of the methodologies of being an English teacher. And let me just give a little example, right, through that. When you're learning a language, you're learning 4 different areas of knowledge, I would say, or senses, which is writing, it's reading, it's listening, and speaking. A lot of the people, they are very good at listening, at reading, and writing. They can be very good at that. But only 2 of those are active knowledge. They are active learning. 2 of those are passive learning, which is listening and reading, because you are observing, you are consuming a lot of information, you're giving data to your brain. So you're collecting all of this information, but you're not acting upon it till you write or you speak, the most advanced type of active learning. So basically, same thing works here. It's a parallel, right? You're consuming a lot, but you're not actively doing what you're consuming. And learning is powerful because when you're learning a language and you know how to read, it's so funny because when you know how to listen, you understand your listening is very good, your reading is very good, your writing is really good. But when it comes to words, to put all of that knowledge into words, you just you get stuck because you have never pronounced those words. You have never exercised that muscle, like your tongue, your muscle. So it never comes out correctly, and you think like, whoa, I don't actually know this yet, but you just haven't practiced it. And it's the same process for anything in your life, especially content creation, projects that you want to start. I think that's another discussion that we usually have a lot in the scientific world, which is street smart versus book smart. And both of them have values, right? They have different approaches, they have different values, they are good for different things, but the combination of both, you can have a lot of book knowledge, let's say, and no real life experience, and you can have a lot of real life experience and no scientific knowledge. So you can act almost like mechanically and technically and automatically, but not understanding why you're doing those things, as you can understand all of the mindset behind all of the actions, but not act upon it. So I came across 3 different terms that I wanted to share here. And you probably might have heard those terms before too as well, but they describe somehow different profiles of different people. And I feel like I identify to a few of them because I act like one of them in the past. And one of them is called Armchair Expert. So let me read for you what an armchair expert is. This is a term that has long been used to describe someone who theorizes about things without direct experience. It originates from the idea of people sitting comfortably in an armchair, giving opinion on topics they haven't actually engaged with. The second term is info hoarder. This term borrows from hoarding, which refers to accumulating objects, in this case information, without using them. And the third one is analysis paralysis. I think that's what I would fit a lot in the past. The phrase has been used since at least the mid-20th centuries and refers to a state where overthinking prevents decision-making or action. So I feel like this is literally like where I was standing a few months ago. Collecting all of this data, collecting all of this information, and just having this informational obesity in my brain. And I just created this term here, but at the same time, you get the point. Not acting upon it. And I'm not better than you. I'm not anyone who's here to lessen you for what you're doing. I'm just trying to give you the same click that I had with one of these videos. Because the only thing that separates people like you from people like me, considering you as someone who's binge watching those kind of content, trapped in this loophole and rabbit hole of binge watching those contents of information and not doing anything about it, consuming and just overthinking and thinking that you don't know enough when you know enough. If you're one of those people, the only thing that separates you from me is action. It's literally like doing something about it. And I'm not just gonna say that and thread it here so you think and reflect on that. I'll give you 2 different strategies that work for me, and I hope they work for you too. So one of them is something that I did to myself, which is basically trying to challenge myself to avoid consuming for a week. I started with 2 days. So I gave myself 2 days to not consume anything. Not going into Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I know this is really hard, but it worked for me. And the first day was the hardest. The second, I was okay. The third, I went back to social media eventually, until I tried to do it again. And I did it for a couple of days, and now I want to do it for an entire week, which is a commitment that I want to do with myself. Another commitment, which is something that has worked for a while, and I've been noticing the results, and that has inspired me to continue. So I want to try to push it for a week. So the thing is, avoid consuming social media in general, but I would say consumption of content. And I know it's hard because everything is content around us, right? If you're walking in the street, if you're going to the movies, but I would say for now, social media content, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, avoid it for 1 day, 2 days. And every time you want to go to social media, open your app for notes in your phone, which could be the notes app on iPhone or the note-taking app on Android or whatever phone you have. Just open a block of text. You can walk with a notebook as well, something you can write on and stick notes, whatever, anything you can write down things. And I want you to write something about it. Just think of an idea. It could be an idea of something that you want to, of something you liked, or something that called your attention in a day, of something you're interested about, the way you're feeling on that day, something you notice about yourself that day, or something that, I don't know, just write something and try to create, try to act upon it. So basically, this is what works for me. I would feel like going to social media, to Instagram, and then eventually I would open my note apps, and eventually I would open the app for notes on my phone, and then I would write something, and then it would be like an idea, which like, oh, I think I want to talk about this on my YouTube channel. I want to create a video about this because my thoughts on this are this and that, for example. And there you develop, and you write a text, and you write a block of text, or you write the beginning of an idea, and so on and on. And I have a lot of notes on my phone now because of those days, because when I gave myself to explore internally what I knew, I realized that I already had a lot of things that I wanted to put out. And the same will come for you. If you have been consuming a lot, at some point you will realize that you have the content that you need within you. So another thing I want you to do is, if you want to open a YouTube channel, don't go and watch any other YouTube video on how to open a YouTube channel. Simply sit down and write down the steps of opening a YouTube channel and what you need to do in order to open a YouTube channel. What do you know so far that you need to do? Without going on the internet and search for answers. In your head, what do you know are the steps? Write it down. You're going to be surprised with what you know. And act on that. Act on what you know already. And start creating by writing. Another strategy that works a lot for me is journaling. I like handwriting journals like this. I have a sketchbook that I've been journaling. This one is still in the beginning. I have a lot of journals. I've recently started this one here. But journaling is the main source of creativity because it comes from within. And in a world of AI and technology, where we have ChatGPT, we have so many artificial intelligences out there, tools every day popping up. I know it's overwhelming. We think we're going to be replaced, but I think the only way we can stand out is by documenting our life experiences the way that only humans can do, because I don't think robots, or at least not so soon, they're going to be able to describe human experience in the world and in life. Maybe it's just a positive way of seeing things, an optimistic way of seeing things. But I do think that it's going to be very hard for robots to document the experience of a lifetime of emotions the way humans actually feel it. And everyone feels things differently. That's why it's going to be so hard for them to do it. So journaling is a way that you're not only going to be able to describe and document your feelings and emotions, but to be creative with them and combine information and then put it out there and then create upon them. And that's it. That's the message of this video. Start acting, start creating. The words, waiting to see your beautiful knowledge, what you have to say, your voice. And you know things. You already know enough. Don't think that you don't know anything. You know enough that you need to do in order for you to take the first step. And you'll get better as the process goes, because it's a long journey. It's not like you're gonna put something out there at first and you're gonna be ready. It's gonna be perfect. It's not. And that's totally fine. You have time to refine it over time. That's the video for today. If you like this video, you're probably gonna like this video right here too. Consider subscribing to this channel, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.